You are not bad with money. You are not undisciplined. And you are definitely not financially irresponsible. You probably just have an income problem. I know that sounds uncomfortable, because everywhere you look, the message is the same. Budget better. Stop buying coffee. Track every dollar. Follow the 30-30-30-10 rule. 30% needs, 30% lifestyle, 30% investing, 10% flexibility. It sounds balanced, responsible, mature. But let me ask you something. If you are making $45,000 a year and living in a major city, how exactly are you supposed to invest 30% of your income? Because 30% of $45,000 after taxes is not small. It is serious money. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. For millions of people earning under $55,000, that math does not work. So if you have ever typed "why can't I save money" into Google late at night while staring at your bank account, this conversation is for you. Because you are not broken. But here is what nobody tells you. Let us imagine you are 28 years old, making $50,000 a year. That sounds decent, respectable. You did what you were supposed to do. But after federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare, you might bring home around $3,300 per month. Now, let's apply the 30-30-30-10 rule to that number. 30% for needs is about $990. 30% for lifestyle is another $990. 30% for investing is another $990. 10% flexible spending is about $330. That means all your essential expenses must fit under $990 per month. Rent, utilities, transportation, insurance, debt payments, groceries, all of it. But average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the United States is around $1,500. In many cities, it is $2,000 or more. So your housing alone already exceeds the entire needs category. And we have not even talked about groceries, gas, health insurance, or student loans. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 37% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash. That is not because 37% of the country is lazy. It is because the margin is thin. Wages adjusted for inflation have grown around 17% since 1979, while productivity has grown more than 60%. You are producing more value than previous generations, but your paycheck has not kept up at the same pace. So when you look at your bank account and ask, "Why can't I save money?" maybe the better question is this: is my income actually high enough for the cost structure I am living in? Let us break this down. First, let's talk about the 30-30-30-10 reality check. On paper, this rule is elegant, balanced, optimized, but it assumes your needs can be capped at 30%. That is the hidden assumption. Let us say your take-home pay is $3,300. 30% for needs gives you $990, but your rent is $1,500. That is already 45% of your income. Add $300 for groceries. Add $400 for transportation. Add $300 for student loans. Add $200 for insurance. You are now at $2,700 in essential costs. That is more than 80% of your income. The rule did not fail. Your math just lives in a different reality. Trying to force yourself into those percentages is like trying to pour a gallon of water into a pint glass. It does not mean you are clumsy. The container is too small. And when you cannot make the percentages work, you assume you are bad with money. You feel guilt. You feel behind. But this is where it gets interesting. Second, fixed costs are the real issue. Most financial advice focuses on small expenses. Cancel subscriptions. Stop ordering takeout. Cut coffee. But your problem is not the $5 coffee. It is the $1,800 rent. It is the $400 car payment. It is the $300 student loan bill. Fixed costs usually make up 60 to 75% of a young adult's budget. And fixed costs are not easy to slash overnight. You cannot negotiate your rent down by 40% tomorrow. You cannot erase student loans instantly. You can cancel streaming services and maybe save $50. That helps, but it does not change your life. Let us compare two scenarios. Scenario 1. You aggressively cut small expenses and save $200 per month. That is $2,400 per year. Scenario 2. You increase your income by $15,000. After taxes, maybe you keep $10,000. That is over $800 extra dollars per month. That is $9,600 per year. See the difference? One strategy squeezes. The other expands. This leads us to something powerful. Third, expenses have a floor, but income has no ceiling. You can only cut so much before you hit survival level. There's a minimum cost to exist. Food, shelter, transportation, healthcare, but income. Income has no fixed limit. If you are earning $48,000 today, could you earn $60,000 in 2 years? Yes. Could you earn $75,000 in 5 years? Very possible. According to labor statistics, workers who switch jobs often see wage increases of 5 to 10% or more. Compare that to typical annual raises of 2 or 3%. That difference compounds. If you move from $45,000 to $65,000, your take-home pay might increase by around $1,000 per month. Now, suddenly saving $500 does not feel impossible. It feels manageable. The 30-30-30-10 rule starts to make sense at $75,000, at $90,000, at $120,000. At $45,000 in a high-cost city, it feels suffocating. And that tells you something important. The rule is not the problem. The sequence is income first, optimization second, investing third. But there's another layer here. Fourth, the psychology of self-blame. When you cannot save money, you internalize it. You tell yourself you lack discipline. You think everyone else figured it out. But financial scarcity changes your brain. Research from Princeton showed that financial stress can temporarily reduce cognitive capacity by the equivalent of about 13 IQ points. Think about that. When you are constantly worried about bills, your mental bandwidth shrinks. You're operating in survival mode. It is hard to think long-term when you are stressed about this month. Imagine trying to build an investment portfolio while wondering if your debit card will decline at the grocery store. Of course, saving feels hard. Your brain is focused on immediate survival. When you understand this, the shame starts to dissolve. You are not uniquely flawed. You are responding to pressure. And when you remove shame, you gain clarity, which brings us to the most practical part. Fifth, the income ladder strategy. Instead of obsessing over percentages, build an intentional path upward. Think of your career like levels in a game. Level 1 is entry-level income. Level 2 is skill stacking. Level 3 is strategic job switching. Level 4 is specialization. Level 5 is leverage through side income or ownership. Most people stay at level 1 or 2 because they never build a clear plan to climb. Here is a realistic example. Someone earns $48,000 working in marketing support. They notice higher-paying roles require analytics and paid advertising skills. They spend 6 months learning those skills. They run small projects. They document results. They apply for better roles. Within 18 months, they land a job paying $68,000. That is a $20,000 increase. After taxes, maybe $14,000 more in their pocket. That is over $1,000 per month in extra breathing room. They did not skip coffee. They upgraded their value. The world pays for problems solved. When you solve bigger problems, you get paid more. This is not instant, but it is realistic, and it compounds. Now let us talk about what you actually do with this. First, audit your income to fixed cost ratio. Calculate your monthly take-home pay. Then calculate your fixed costs. Rent, debt, transportation, insurance. If those exceed 60% of your take-home pay, you likely have an income problem. This takes 30 minutes. It removes emotion from the equation. Second, identify a $20,000 skill. Look at roles in your industry that pay $15,000 to $25,000 more than you earn now. Study the job descriptions. What skills appear repeatedly? Data analysis, sales, automation, project management, technical certifications. Choose one. Commit 5 to 10 hours per week for 3 to 6 months. Targeted skill building increases earning power faster than random self-improvement. Third, negotiate or switch roles within 12 months. Document your wins. Quantify results. Apply intentionally. Workers who switch jobs often see 5 to 10% or higher salary increases. Staying comfortable rarely creates dramatic income jumps. Fourth, build a second income stream once your main income is rising. Freelance your skill. Consult. Offer services. An extra $500 to $1,000 per month can fully fund your investing bucket under the 30-30-30-10 framework. Now imagine your income grows from $45,000 to $70,000 over 3 to 5 years. Your take-home might rise from $34,000 to perhaps $50,000. Now 30% investing equals $15,000 per year. That is over $1,200 per month. Suddenly the rule that once felt impossible becomes powerful. You see the shift. You were not bad with money. You were underpowered. You were trying to run advanced financial strategies on entry-level income. It is like installing racing tires on a car with a small engine. The problem is not the tires. It is the horsepower. and horsepower can be upgraded. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, why can't I save money? Pause. Ask a different question. How can I increase my earning capacity over the next 3 years? That question changes your trajectory. It moves you from restriction to expansion, from guilt to strategy, from survival to momentum. You are not behind. You are early in the process. And the process starts with acknowledging the math. The 30-30-30-10 rule is not evil. It is aspirational. But aspiration without adequate income creates shame. Adequate income plus structure creates wealth. So focus on building the engine first, then optimize the fuel, then invest aggressively. You are not bad with money. You just need more margin. And margin comes from growth. If this shifted your perspective, stay with me. In the next video, we are breaking down exactly how to strategically increase your income over the next 12 months step by step. Because once your income rises, saving stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like power. You are not broken. You are building. And that changes everything.